What's going on YouTube? This is JR Juggernaut 1, and this is going to be a video updated about my sneak preview that I had over the weekend and how it went. Um, I went to a sneak not too far away from my school. Met some nice people there. I ended up playing in a local tournament. Most of the players there were just there to trade and such. And I made a lot of nice trades while I was there, so it was some great profit for me. I played Heroes in the local tournament they had, which had about, I think, 16 players, much smaller than what I'm used to. And I ended up going X2. Uh, should have done better, but stuff happens. Both my matches consisted of round one. I faced Plants. The guy who's piling the deck was had had topped YCS. I think it was Anaheim. He topped YCS Anaheim with Gravekeepers. Uh, if I remember correctly, yeah. Round two, I faced Malefics. I beat Plants. I beat Malefics. Round three, I faced Agents. I lost. I really shouldn't have lost, but my opponent drew nutty hands both times. Or at least the first game he drew a nutty hand. Second time he top decked BLS, and I was just sad face. Uh, Round four I faced Lightsworn. That was where my side deck really just came in handy for sure. And then round five I faced his friend who was also playing Heroes, but he was playing Hero Gate, which was a much faster deck, and unfortunately I didn't side. My side I think was not optimal, and on top of that, he always had the gate that he needed to do some crazy fusion shenanigans, and I never drew the super polys I needed to counter him. So yeah, it sucked, but whatever. um, I still had a lot of fun. I'm still really glad I went, and I was able to get all the stuff I needed to finish up this deck in time for the tournament, so I was really happy about that. But I want to also use this video to talk about the deck, so I'm going to get to that now. So yeah, I guess you could call this anti-hero, anti-meta hero, whatever you want to call it. It's not really Miracle Gemini because it's just a more stunish deck than it was before, though it does share that same ability to create field presence quickly and also make some aggressive pushes. But yeah, so we've got one Stratos. For the Heroes lineup, we've got a Stratos, triple Neos Alias, an Ocean, just so I can recover my heroes, and because it's a water target, and one Ice Edge to bait out warnings and to hit their face, and to force my opponent to use their traps and or quick play spells on this guy, whatever they have face down. For the non-hero lineup, we've got two Thunder King Ryo, not three because I search a lot and it's really good, but it's just not a card you're going to want to draw a ton of the time because it really depends on the type of setup you have. The only time you really want to draw it immediately is when you're facing a deck that is when they have Sangan out. Not necessarily when they get it out already and you can take advantage of preventing them from searching. One Grand Mole. This card is like a sleeper card of the format. It's just it deals with all the synchros and exceeds monsters that give you trouble. And while I do side it out against certain matchups, and also because of some of the cards I side in for certain matchups, it's still very good. One Evocator Chevalier because it's a fire target and it's a Gemini, so not really much I need to say about that. It's kind of straightforward. And then last three monsters, triple Reborn Tengu. You could do a lot of crazy shenanigans with Reborn Tengu in this deck, and again, I happen to have three from when I ran Plants, so I didn't have to go through the trouble of getting more. So, but yeah, this card is really good. It's an awesome floater. It lets you make Great Tornado, which is actually a really good card, especially when you fuse it with Tengu, because you can have your opponent's monsters, and not only do you get, and by getting a second Tengu, you basically say, oh, well, you might have a response, but I'm going to be able to run over your monster either way. It's really good when you can do that. But yeah, that's the monster account. I had 13 monsters. For spells, we've got Rhoda and double E-Call for your immediate searches. I was originally running one E-Call, but I bumped it up to two because I just want that added consistency, and I want to be able to get to Stratos as soon as possible. I don't care if it can if it might seem like a little bit too much in terms of search power. Triple Pot of Duality. So glad I can say this. Yeah, this deck special summons a lot, but when you actually see the side deck and what you play, you realize you need this card because to add that extra consistency to it. Triple Gemini Spark. One of the best +1s in the game, in my opinion. It's just a great way to remove monsters and back row. And I don't run MST, so this is mostly your only form of back row hate, which is good and bad, but I don't feel MST is a necessity of this format. Excuse me. Or at least not in the deck that I'm playing. Gemini Spark kind of just puts in more work. Double Miracle Fusion. Not 3, because 3 clogs and you won't always get a graveyard presence with heroes very easily, so it's more optimal to just play 2. Double Fusion Gate. Miracle Fusion is when you build up a graveyard. Fusion Gate is when you build up a hand. Both of these cards have their own separate uses, but they both wind up doing a lot of work when you draw into your heroes. And then for the staples, we have Dark Hole, Monster Reborn. And then the staples for hero decks, you have a Super Poly, because you can do crazy shenanigans with this in Tengu by going attacking with a hero, attacking with Tengu, then Super Poly, get Great Tornado and another Tengu. You basically have game right there. And Future Fusion to set up the big plays. Don't know why I wasn't running this at the regional. This card is broken. Trap card. Spells, that was 17. For traps, we have 10 trap cards. We've got the Solemn Brigade. These cards are really good. I finally got 2 warning. I finally have 2 warnings I could use, not just one. I picked up 2 supers while I was at the event. It's a really good card. Put in a lot of work throughout the day, but it's the Solemn Brigade. That's what it's supposed to do. 1 Hero Blast. I wasn't originally running this in the main deck when I was testing, but I find it's too broken not to run because of the plus factor it has. However, I still don't like running more than 1 because it can be dead at times. Mirror Force, yeah, there are a lot of floaters going around, but I still like it a lot because it can clear multiple monsters at once. Same with Torrential. And we've also got Deep Prison, Dark Bribe, for just something to set to protect you from Heavy Storm or any like counter trap card for that matter. Starlight Road, you run a bunch of traps. I feel more comfortable setting them when I have this card. And Trap Dust Shoot, which is one of the best cards in this format right now. It's so ridiculous. So yeah, that was the main deck. The extra deck I'll just go through quickly because it's pretty straightforward. I played 1 Vision Hero Adoration. Never played it. 1 Dragon Knight Dracoe Quest. I didn't play it, but I still would keep it in because it's just that good. 1 Chimera Tech. Karakuri's are increasing in popularity. I feel like it's good to have this in the extra deck for that reason, and because I'm not tight on space at all, at least right now with this deck. 1 Nova Master, and 1 Gaia. Those were the only like 1-ofs in terms of fusions. For the rest of them, we have 2 Great Tornadoes. Yeah, card is busted. 2 Shining. Also busted. 2 Ab-Zeros. Ultras. 2 Utopias. Because you get it out a lot. I don't run Roach, and I like this card a lot more than Roach, quite frankly. Roach, there are a few situations where it's really good that I might want it, but most of the time I just want Utopia, quite frankly. And then Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road, and Scrap Dragon is just a random synchro my friend suggested. You could replace this with almost anything. For the side deck, now the side deck, what I was going for in this deck is more or less, you side into more stun cards, and you sort of have this kind of removal-ish deck where you can focus on removing your opponent's cards while also being able to fuse and be aggressive at the same time. However, it's still not as fast as the original build, so hence why you want to keep the dualities in there at 3. But yeah, the side deck is basically siding out a lot of the graveyard reliant cards and siding into any number of these cards. But the idea is kind of you want to side into as many as possible. Like the removal side deck is made up of 2 Banisher, 2 D-Fissures, 2 Parallel World Fusion. The main reason why you side in those removal cards, because then this card becomes live and you can still recycle them back into your deck. 2 Doom Caliber Knights. Didn't play this card much, but it has a lot of use against a lot of matchups, and it'll be very good once Rescue Cat comes out. And 2 Skill Drain for that area. Card is busted. It just can stop a lot of decks in their tracks. And then you just have Super Poly, double bottomless. I side this out in a lot, surprisingly. It's really good, but it's just not good enough for the main deck. And MST, double MST, just for decks that have I don't know. I sided this in against Malefics, and that was pretty much the only I sided this against Malefics and Heroes because I wanted to deal with their field spells. So that was basically it. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. Last thing I want to just talk about is if you see any ads on my vids, or if you see any ads on the sides, just please click them. I'm sort of got in partnership with YouTube, so I can make money off the ads on my vids. Please support me as much as you can, guys. I would really appreciate it. I'm not making vids for the money, but it is something I would like to have if I can get that benefit out of this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will post more videos in the coming week regarding just Rescue Rabbit, Tour Guide, all this stuff regarding Photon Shockwave. Yeah, hope you guys had a good sneak as well, and I'm out of here. Peace, guys.